Hey, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review for you. Let's talk about the 2020 film PG Psycho Goreman. Don't you just love that title? Psycho Goreman. It's actually PG Psycho Goreman. This is an interesting movie, and if you're on the right, if you're on the same wavelength as the guy who made it, this Steve Kostensky, you're going to love it. It's a blast. It's a blast from the past that's modern. It's kind of like an 80s, 90s, almost a Power Rangers kind of movie, but it's rated R with blood and gore, and it's over-the-top performances and some incredible practical work, from costumes to gore to blood to you name it. This is like somebody made it in their backyard for a decent amount of money, and it looks better and feels better than that. So, not getting into spoiler territory, this is available to stream. It hit theaters in January of 2021, also hit on demand, and I think it's been on Shudder for a while. It's a Canadian film. I first heard of Stephen Kostensky when he and his partner made The Void back in 2016, which is a very Lovecraftian horror movie that has a lot of practical effects and a lot of gore. It's very interesting. It's very weird, but I like weird. I like things that surprise me. And that's what happened with this movie. PG Psycho Goreman starts like your typical, there's a big voiceover at the beginning. And then you've got two young kids who are playing in the backyard and find basically extraterrestrial bad guy. He's been buried there for millennium. It's kind of bubbled up. They accidentally unleash him. And the MacGuffin of the movie is they also find the gem that controls him, like a remote control. So you have this vile villain, like he kills people just for the fun of it. He loves to torture people and rip people apart, and you get to see him do that. But he can't do it to the kids, and it drives him freaking nuts. And that is what makes the movie so funny. He plays it straight, like straight bad guy out of some straight bad science fiction movie, and they're kids just having fun. There's a great montage where they take him downtown, do all sorts of stuff with him in public. They don't go the route like they take him to school and use him to beat up bullies or anything like that, which was kind of refreshing. And the other refreshing thing about the movie is just when you think you know where it's going, they lump in some crazy flashback or somebody appears or something happens that you just don't expect. It's not... Again, it starts off like, I've seen this movie 1,000 times. It's going to be boring. Oh, well, that was different. Oh, and now I kind of say, I see where this is going. Oh, wait, that was different. And the movie continues to do that for its 90-minute runtime. It's a short film. It doesn't overstay its welcome. The effects are really well done, considering they're almost all practical. There's a little stop motion. There's a little CG. There's a little other things. But most of it is practical suits and practical gore effects. So again, this is definitely not for the kids. The movie is rated R for gore, and it should be. One of the first times you see gore, two people get their heads completely ripped off at the same time, and blood squirts everywhere. It's very much over the top, like a Sam Raimi scene. But the movie does have a bit of heart. I think sometimes kid acting can be spotty, and it's real spotty in this one in places. The little girl overacts at times, but she's very theatrical, so it works in the framework of this movie. The boy is very good actor. Actually, I think he was good in majority of the film. I love the guy and the voice of PG. A different actor plays it than voices it, and the two go together to make, kind of a Darth Vader character. He's great. Some of the alien, the designs and stuff, really amazing, because what eventually happens is people come looking for this guy now that he's unearthed. And it gets pretty epic for its size and scale of budget and scope. But I got to say, all the practical effects are good. It's done with a tongue firmly planted in the cheek, and it's meant to be a blast from beginning to end. There are some things where I watched one of the extras on the Blu-ray after with the director, and he's talking about, there was a scene, and we went here, and we were like, let's take it to full stupid. And his idea of full stupid is something that's very cinematic, something very visual, something very, wow, I can't believe they did that. And I wish there were more directors who would take that chance. He doesn't knock every one of those out of the park, but you have enough of them in a 90-minute film that keep it interesting throughout the whole thing. Through spotty acting, it's a pretty light framework for a story, but we're here for the practical effects and watching two kids remote control a very vile, evil alien creature. All in all, I had a blast with the movie. Currently, when it first came out, on Blu-ray. You could get it. Then there was a Steelbook that was a Walmart exclusive. Now the Steelbook is readily available everywhere. If you keep your eye out for it, you can get it really, really cheap, which is great. It comes with the Blu-ray and the DVD. It's a great matte finish Steelbook. And the Blu-ray looks fine for its budget and age. Movie came out in 2020. It doesn't have Dolby Atmos or Dolby Vision. It's not 4K or anything like that. But as a film, it looks pretty good. There were a couple scenes, especially early on. It was almost like they filmed with an iPhone and it was in portrait mode where like the background was a little blurry. But the people weren't. And I thought that was strange because it wasn't a special effects scene. It was just a scene in a backyard. I don't know why the background was a little blurry compared to the people. And there were a couple of other things. I don't know what they used to film this or how they filmed it. Maybe a lot of it was done on iPhones. I don't know. It looks pretty cinematic. It looks really good. And like I said, the effects are great. The costumes and the makeup effects really spectacularly done for a movie that only made about $137,000 at the box office. Anyway, you can catch it on streaming services. Like I said, you can find the Blu-ray cheap and the Steelbook fairly cheap as well. I don't think this will ever get a 4K release. Doesn't come with a digital copy because it's the, RLJE Films. None of their stuff comes with digital copies. But of these Shudder films I've watched recently, and there's been quite a few of them, actually. I didn't realize a lot of this stuff came from the Shudder channel, or at least Shudder bought the rights to them when they came out. But this movie and a couple of the others that I've reviewed lately from Shudder that are still currently streaming on Shudder are quite worth your time. I mean, Late Night with the Devil was one of my favorite movies of the year, and there's been a couple others in recent memory that I've reviewed that were on that label and are on that streaming service. So check out Shudder if you're interested in this kind of fare. It's definitely a B movie, but it was one of the more, shall I say, entertaining ones because, well, I got the vibe of what they were going for. I wasn't looking for something that was serious like an actual Star Wars or anything. This is supposed to be an over-the-top B movie with over-the-top performances and over-the-top gore and over-the-top makeup effects and all that, and it succeeds. Somebody please give this guy a budget. After watching The Void and this, plus some clips from his earlier films, he's got the imagination and he can tell a story. So give him some major money and let him do something like this. I mean, if you gave him like Guyver and Guyver 2 are now coming out in 4K. Somebody's restored those movies, and they're actually pretty terrible. But if you're a fan of the Guyver anime and manga, it's a pretty cool character. Somebody like Steven Kostanski could take that idea and really do it justice in a film if somebody gave the guy a budget. It won't change your life. It won't be the best movie you've seen this year, but I've got to be honest, I really was entertained by it. And we'll pull it out from time to time when I want to see something like this. Again, like a kid's Power Ranger movie with an R-rated element of gore and violence and kind of there's not a lot of cussing. There's no nudity or anything like that, but it has a more dark tone on top of what could be a kid's Power Ranger movie. It's definitely not for kids. So anyway, PG Psycho Goreman is available all sorts of places now. You should check it out if you're into B-movie thrills with lots of gore and over-the-top silliness. It was great. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. Got some more Halloween movies to review. I'm trying to stick in the Halloween lane this month. There will be some reviews of things that are not Halloween-centric, but this would be a good Halloween flick. Check out PG Psycho Goreman if you're so inclined. Links are below if you want to support the channel. Have a spectacular day, and thank you for listening.